Okay then guys, so what I'm talk about today is what I call the soft diet phase. Okay, so previously we've talked about the priming phase, which is traditionally you guys would call it bulking. I don't call it bulking because I think it just gets people fat. Then we've looked at the adaptation phase, so solidifying those gains during the priming phase, so that when you start a diet you just don't drop a ton of weight off the bat. Okay, so the next phase that we would come into is what I call the soft diet, or technical term fat transitioning phase. So basically what a lot of guys do start a diet, they'll do an aggressive cut, okay, 20, 30, 40, 50% of the calories I've known guys to do, and yeah, they'll get a massive drop in body weight, but when you actually look at the body composition, it's not changing in line with the cut that they've got. And plus, when you drop that severely, your body will adapt, catch up, and then the weight loss will slow down. And what you're going to do then, drop another 50%, because the same thing will happen, you know, within 5 or 6 weeks you're going to be maxed out on what you can do, whether that's more cardio or dropping to zero carbs, zero fats, which we should never really do, not in the early stages of the diet anyway. So what I like to do is the soft diet approach. Okay, so let's just say my prep phase is 16 weeks, and then what I will do for 6 weeks prior to that is this soft diet approach, this fat transitional phase. Okay, so you've just come out of your adaptation. Okay, your set point should be super fucking high now, really high. Okay, so let's just say we're on 6,000 calories. Now what we would do during this fat transitional phase is we would manipulate the macros, alter the setup of the diet, so everything favours the fat burning process. Okay, we would then start to utilise other output methods during our training, during our cardio, without necessarily increasing the time or the frequency of the output. So for example, something that I do with my guys, one of the stages that I do with my guys during this phase is I will do something called HRT sets during their training. So all it does is adds 1 to 2 minutes of time to their total training time, but their output increases significantly because of a process called EPOC, okay, exercise post oxygen consumption. Okay, so that goes through the roof because of these sets that we do that last for 1 to 2 minutes. Okay, another thing you could do is you could increase the intensity of the cardio. You could maybe do some high interval training instead of the steady state. So again, we're not increasing the time. So the idea of the fat transitional phase is to start recompositioning the body without the need for massive increases in output, huge reductions in calories, but we want to get maximal effect on body composition. So I've known guys to drop loads and loads of pounds in body fat, huge swings in the body composition in favour of muscle tissue, just by making small little changes to their daily routine, their daily habits, their training and their nutrition. Okay, so the idea for me is the minimal prescription of exercise and training for the maximal output, especially during this phase. Okay, so yeah, fat transitional phase 3, the soft dieting phase, right before we start the prep phase, going a little bit harder onto the prep phase. So can give you a full breakdown on what's involved in this. Okay, if you book a call, you can download the blueprint, and then in the fat transitional section you'll see the full breakdown, the steps, what we do to the macros, nutrient timing, the adjustments as well. The frequency of our adjustments increases, so we'll increase adjustment frequency twice per week rather than the traditional one per week during this phase. Okay, just to keep on top of what's going on. Plus the adjustments are minute here, so normally we would be looking at anywhere from 5 to 10% decrease in calories, but during the fat transitional phase it'll be anywhere from 2 to 5% depending on the person. Okay, so yeah, the way I like to look at the fat transitional phase as well is it kind of preps you mentally ready for the main dieting phase, because before in previous clients I've noticed that it takes them a while to get into the diet. It takes them 4 or 5 weeks to really get into it. So if we have this period right before the prep phase, you know, by the time the actual prep phase comes along, you should be well up for it. You should be really into the diet, into those habits, those routines should be really established, and you should just be sailing along. Okay, so that's phase 3, the fat transitional phase. Like I said, download the blueprint below, book a call in, download the blueprint. I'm even going to give you a starting nutrition plan that's customized to your body weight, and there's a training plan in there that you can use. I think it's a training plan I've just used on my last prep, so you can have that as well. Book the call in, download the blueprint, get on the call, and I'm going to talk you through the blueprint and how we can set that up for you guys moving forward. Okay, so that's it on this one, and I'll see you in the next video when we'll be talking about the actual cutting phase and how I like to implement that.